we've got Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which is, again, a complete reinvention of that franchise.
Yeah, famously, Sony, wasn't really keen on having it on the PlayStation. They didn't want 2D games on the platform
because the system wasn't strong at that.
Well, and they were just trying to move, it's a differentiator from the last generation and, make your game in 3D. Symphony of the Night is my second favorite game of all time after Super Metroid. So, sort of two sides of the same coin there.
Wow.
So I don't have enough good things to say about it. I mean, I can let somebody else sort of...
No, but what I think is amazing is that, you bring up in the same breath Castlevania and Super Metroid.
Yeah.
There's the term, Metroidvania, and what's so funny about that term to me is that I'm old enough that I grew up with Castlevania when it had nothing to do with any of those mechanics. Yeah. So now, I would say, more to your generation, Kelly, right? Probably thinks of Castlevania almost solely as that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of Castlevania, and it's weird to think about how Symphony of the Night is a complete shift. It wasn't like that before, and now you think of Metroidvania and it's almost synonymous.
Right, and we never got Rondo of Blood here in the States, which was another linear Castlevania, but we had several beforehand, and we get the switch, but there's so many, this game, it's so many innovative things it does, beyond the wonderful exploration and opening up new areas of the castle thing. It starts at the end of the last game. We hadn't played that game, but the final boss fight of Rondo of Blood is the beginning of Symphony of the Night, and then it burns out to that photograph, and then you go and you're just like, I can go anywhere, I can do anything, I'm Alucard, I'm destroying giant werewolves, oh crap, it took all my weapons. And then you go and start exploring, you're like, this is amazing, this place is huge, so much is happening. And then when you don't know that twist is coming.
The twist is so good at the end.
You're just like, are you kidding?
Because it's one of the few times in our medium, and you'd think it would be more often because the whole thing with video games is that they're active, it's gameplay. You think about plot twists. Yeah. This is like a gameplay twist. You get to the end, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, do that whole castle over again, upside down.
Yeah, exactly.
What completely? Think about for a second the amount of if you want to think about level design as engineering. They had to engineer the entire space to work both ways.
Yeah, which is
it was
brilliant.
so fantastic. I don't have enough good things to say about that game. There's a lot of little details that I think some people don't. When people are remembering that game, they always talk about some of the same beats, and what they miss is that the different weapons felt really different. The build that I preferred was, the shield that would just ram into things and just destroy them, and that's how I went through the whole inverted castle, was just with the shield out. I didn't even really use weapons, the different magic spells that you had,
which were all
the Street Fighter,
fighting game
combos. So there's a little bit of a Twitch skill involved there, more so than just sort of leveling up your character. I also don't think the game gets enough credit for sort of the world building they did with the castle and making that castle feel like a space. They really did their homework. That and Super Metroid are two of the first examples of these non-linear action adventures, and two of the games that did it almost better than anything else. When you descend down into that castle, you feel like you're going into, hell. It feels like you are in this dark, dank, scary sub basement, and the different areas of the castle stitched together in a way that make it feel more like a physical place than a lot of other, even sadly subsequent Castlevania games would be able to pull off.
Some of it's the art direction, some of it's the incredible music as you move between those areas that gave them all a unique flavor. And you talked about, the reverse castle. You go up there and suddenly there's all new themes and new bosses and new environment in those same spaces.
Yeah.